Hey guys, this Q&A is for 600,000 subscribers. You might be thinking to yourself, oh wow, he already has 617,000 subscribers since uploading this video. How has he grown so fast? But in reality, 600k was just the first milestone that I didn't realize we got to, and I didn't realize until I read comments asking me when the Q&A was. You know what? The best explanation I have for why this happened is because my mind is mentally ready for a million, so let's get there. As always, there will be a Q&A and a giveaway to speakcubeshop.com, which I will give details for at the end of the video. What would you choose? Reading minds, being invisible for a month, or break the world record of the Rubik's Cube? I would pick breaking the world record if I did that through my own hard work, which seems a little unrealistic to me right now because I'd probably just have to get extremely lucky. So let's go with reading minds. I personally don't know what's so great about invisibility. It's like one of the top superpowers people talk about, and I have no clue what I would even use that for. Plus, this is just be invisible for a month. I can't even turn it on and off. I just have to be invisible. That would really mess with my life. I wouldn't be able to film a video because my hands are gone, although it would make for some really cool videos, but people would have a lot of questions, and I'd probably honestly get kidnapped by the government for them to experiment on me, because how am I invisible? And then if they figure it out, we'll have even scarier technology like invisible cameras placed in your house to spy on you. Yeah, I don't want that timeline to exist, so I'm not going to be invisible for a month. Thank you very much. And if I really wanted to break the world record for the Rubik's Cube and I didn't care how I did it, like I allowed myself to cheat, I would just take reading minds, because I could read the mind of the person scrambling my cube. I'll know exactly what scramble it was, do it on my cube, practice it a few times, then go do the solve. Yeah, world record. Do you think cubing 100 years from now will be in any way similar to how it is today? Hopefully there will be better cubes and algorithms and content creation around it. Hopefully China won't have all of the world records. I think the best JPerm algorithm will still be this. And as long as we still have the discount code JPerm at Speedcube Shop, then I think we're good. When are you going to teach us how to read Chinese so I can finally read those instructions? Well, hopefully soon, because see, I'm Chinese, but 其实我会讲中文，可是我不会读。Would you rather be able to make any cube you imagine appear in your hands instantly, or be able to make every single person on the planet use code JPerm at speakcubeshop.com? See, my first thought was, if everyone in the world used that discount code and they bought like, I don't know, $15 of stuff, that would equal like, I don't know, like millions of dollars? I'm not gonna do the math, but it's more money than I would ever need. But if I can make any cube appear in my hands instantly, then I can just start a business where I sell cubes and get people to use the discount code JPerm. Wait, how far would this be able to go? Because, okay, right now I'm ranked 65th in the world for 3x3 solve. And if somebody was about to beat my solve, could I just imagine that their cube is in my hands and now I've taken it away from them? Because I really don't want to fall out of the top 100, and this would be a surefire way to keep my spot. Do you ever feel like you've nearly maximized your potential in cubing, specifically for 3x3? I've been feeling that way sometimes since I was probably like sub 30. But as long as you notice things that you are doing that could be better, then you can still improve. Do you have any tips for adapting one's practice routine as one progresses in order to maximize improvement and minimize stagnation and boredom? This one is always a tough question to answer because all of these factors are kind of linked together. But one mindset change that has actually made things a lot better for me is trying to think about how I want my solves to look rather than trying to think I want a specific time. Because when you want solves under a certain time, there are many ways that can happen, including luck. And if you want your solves to look a certain way, then there's only one way to get there, and that's by practicing the things you want to practice. If the 4x4 were invented before the 3x3, do you think the main 4x4 method would be similar to the 3x3 with the 3x3 stage and such, or would it be completely different with its own unique method? This is such an interesting question, and I have thought about it so much, I don't know the answer to this. If you've never done 4x4, here is how it works. If you only turn the outer layers of 4x4, then what you get is corner pieces, and then these two make one edge piece, and this is a corner piece, and that's a center piece, which is exactly what you have on a 3x3. So how we solve a 4x4 is we take a fully scrambled cube, and then we do reduction, which turns it into a 3x3, and then we solve it just like a 3x3 using all of our 3x3 techniques. Now, this isn't the only way you can solve it. Non-reduction methods exist, and a very notable one is K4. For the most part, K4 actually looks kind of similar to a 3x3 solve, except adapted to 4x4. It's just the last layer that starts to get very different. So I think we would have both methods, but would we actually be faster at reduction? Because we don't have like all the OLL, PLL, and F2L optimizations, and I wonder if we would even learn those. So it's possible that if the 4x4 was invented first, we'd actually use a method more like K4 because it has less memorization. Maybe it would be faster. I don't know. See, this is why I can't satisfactorily answer this question, but I do think this is such an interesting thing to think about. If the RS3M 2020 didn't exist, which cube would you choose to be your main and why? If this didn't exist, then probably the GAN11M Pro. Not because I super duper like this one, but because there are so many different cubes that I could probably use. At this point, they're also good that is more about which ones I'm used to. And see, here's the trick GAN is pulling on me. They have released so many editions of the GAN11M Pro that to make these videos, I have to use their cube more than a lot of other cubes. So obviously I'm more used to this one, and that's the trick. They're gonna make me use it so much that it becomes my main, and then I'll tell people to go buy it. But I like the RS3M 2020 more, so this is the one for now. Your tricks aren't working on me this time, GAN. Is using algs as passwords a good idea? Okay, this is interesting. Let's weigh the pros and cons of this. If you use algorithms as your password, it would take a long time to type it, and if somebody knew you used algorithms as a password, then it becomes easier to guess. Not just because they can guess what algorithm you chose, but if they had a computer program try and guess your password, there would be far fewer possible characters that could go into it, so it would make the guessing a lot faster. But there are advantages, like maybe it could help you remember an algorithm, although like remembering an algorithm without making it your password is already kind of easy, and most methods of guessing a password wouldn't be able to get it. For me personally, I just wouldn't do this because I think it would take too long to type. You can't hide from me forever, Dylan. What are your favorite pizza toppings? I wasn't hiding. I think if you hang out with me enough, you'll start to learn that there aren't any foods that I super duper like, but there are some foods I really hate. So I don't really mind any pizza toppings. I think pizza is so good. Just give me a cheese pizza and I'll love it. Put anything on it and I'll love it. Just don't put bell peppers. Bell peppers have this really interesting taste that nothing else has that is completely disgusting, and when I try to describe this taste to people, they say, bell peppers don't have that taste. And so I Googled it one time, and turns out this is a very common thing. There are people who think there's just this horrible taste about bell peppers that other people don't seem to agree on. So I'm just one of those people, apparently. Maybe I have special taste buds. Also, does this mean I like pineapple on my pizzas? Yes. Oh right, you're not supposed to say that. I'm not gonna read this one, but I'll just let you know that when I read it in my head, it had that tune. You got me. Do you think we'll see a rise of roux in the years to come? I think the popularity of the roux method will remain roughly the same in comparison to CFOP until someone with roux goes and breaks the 3x3 world record. Then things will change. But if that doesn't happen, then I doubt it. How much time till top speedcubers improve their times by, say, half a second on average? The way I feel like this works is one person who's really fast goes and takes the lead, and then everyone else kind of like catches up to them. It's rarely that everyone just moves forward together. And that one person could be one of the top cubers now, or it could be somebody who comes 5 years from now. So we'll just have to see. Have you ever tried timing how fast you can do the moves to scramble the cube on CS Timer? Well, my hands are not warmed up, but let's try one right now. Okay, how fast was that? If you could time travel back to 1982 to the first cubing competition ever, how many world records do you think you would have? P.S. Using the old clunky Rubik's Cube. Ah, damn it, I was gonna have all of them, now I'm gonna have none of them. No, I think I'd do fine with the old Rubik's Cube. I actually had one that's probably not as bad as they were in 1982, but I've like used dollar store cubes as my main, like with no lube, and they were horrible to turn. I think breaking the world record of like 20 something seconds from back then would be super easy, but then somebody added, let's give him an additional handicap, use the wrist turning techniques of that day. If you actually watch the wrist turning techniques, they are obviously way better at wrist turning than I am, and my only advantage would be the knowledge that I have now, which in some cases may not even be an advantage because some of the knowledge that I have is like, for example, a better algorithm, which is only better because of how fast the cubes turn nowadays. I think in that case, I would do well, but I probably wouldn't be the best. In all the times you have solved a 3x3 in competition, what time was the highest above your average at that time? This was way back in the day, and I actually wasn't cubing at the time, but I did know that there was a competition happening. I didn't make up my mind to go to it until the morning of the competition. This was a very different time for cubing because now you have to sign up in like the first hour or something. But yeah, back then they didn't fill up and you could just go register at the door. So I called in on the morning of the competition and asked if there was still room. They said yes, and then I went and my hands were cold and I did a 14-second average, which was really bad at the time because I averaged 11. And I thought, you know, I've been sort of out of practice, but 14 is not too bad for having freezing hands because I literally just got to the venue. I can still get to finals. In the next round, I just have to do a little better. And I got a 14-second average again. And that was probably the worst one ever. At that point, I wasn't really cubing. I didn't have friends at the competition, so I had nothing to stay for. After I failed that average, I knew I wouldn't make finals, so I just went home. How much money is your cube collection all worth? Counting the cubes SpeedCube Shop sent to you. I don't want to calculate it, but I can give you a rough estimate. Assuming I have around 300 cubes and they are on average about $15, that would put the total value at $4,500. GAN does send me a lot of cubes, yeah, so what if we put that at 20? Then that would be $6,000. If somehow you aren't subscribed, why wouldn't you be subscribed? Then do it now so you can enter the giveaway. As usual, there will be lots of winners. All of these prizes will be gift cards to speedcubeshop.com, and all you have to do is subscribe and leave a comment, any comment. In 2 weeks, I will upload a video showing who the winners are and how to claim your prize if you are the winner. So huge thanks to SpeedCube Shop for making this giveaway possible. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.